Well, it looks like Canelo Álvarez versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. The purse bid is postponed as the two parties have made contact, and it looks like they may face each other. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Now it's getting real interesting over there at DAZN, especially regarding Canelo. Now, I've given you my thoughts on the franchise champion status with the WBC, what I think is going on with Canelo and DAZN. And just as I suspected, it seems, and I'll get to more of that in another video and maybe a little bit some in this video, there's some discord between DAZN and their directives and what they need and request and want out of Canelo and what Canelo wants to do. So now it's looking like Canelo Álvarez has made contact with Sergey Derevyanchenko, who is the IBF mandatory, to possibly stage that fight. So the IBF has backed down and they have postponed the purse bid because it was going to go to them. And we may get Canelo versus Sergey Derevyanchenko next. However, there's a big however. This is per the IBF. This is Canelo. This is Golden Boy. And this is Sergey Derevyanchenko. So this is what they're doing. However, DAZN, it was widely reported that they only approved Canelo to fight either Sergey Kovalev, which he can't fight next now because Kovalev is fighting Anthony Yarde, unless Kovalev comes through the Yarde fight and is ready to fight Canelo in maybe December or something like that. But that remains to be seen if he even gets past Anthony Yarde at this point. So I don't know if they can just really wait until the outcome of that fight and, you know, before they announce Canelo's next opponent. That I don't know. The other person was Gennady Triple G Golovkin. So even though this is what the IBF wants, and Golden Boy is now in the process, Team Canelo is now in the process of negotiating with Derevyanchenko, will DAZN approve this? This is the platform that the fight would be on. You know, similarly, when you had HBO boxing, there were certain fights that they want on their station and certain fights that they would approve. Now DAZN, they're trying to, I told you DAZN needs a hit. They're trying to capture an audience, keep an audience, sustain the audience. And to me, they haven't really been able to create that attraction. And the biggest fight on their network, per, you know, sources like Eddie Hearn, who works with them, the biggest fight so far has been Canelo versus Danny Jacobs. But when you look at it from a boxing fan perspective, Canelo versus Jacobs, I don't think it did what Keith Thurman and Manny Pacquiao just did, where people were just talking about it for days and everybody who's talking about it goes viral, and, you know, a lot of interest and a lot of people, a lot of, you know, Kawhi Leonards and just different people are chiming in on that fight. I didn't see the energy for fight week for Canelo Jacobs the same way. So this is real interesting because I don't know if DAZN likes the fight Canelo versus Derevyanchenko. I understand rules are rules, but DAZN, they're not the sanctioning bodies. DAZN is looking for a hit. They are trying to make a hit fight that gets them financial stability and gets them out of the red. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I got another video coming because there's more information, even including someone who works with DAZN. And he's saying that DAZN, even if they do allow the Derevyanchenko, they need a commitment from Canelo that he's going to fight Gennady Golovkin because they want that big fight. So again, this is looking like a mess, you know, with the franchise champion, with Canelo not seeming to want to fight Triple G. For whatever reason, DAZN is hell-bent on making Triple G, even though Demetrius Andrade's on the network, and fans would love, like myself, would love to see Canelo versus Demetrius Andrade. They think the money is in the Triple G fight, probably because they already had two fights and it's already been promoted. So they probably feel the groundwork has been laid for that particular fight. And they tracked the HBO numbers, and both of those fights did over 1 million. So for whatever reason, they think that the third one is going to do that for them. So seems like they have their eyes and sights set on that particular fight. I don't really even want to see Canelo versus Triple G part 3. You know, I'd rather see Charlo get a shot or Demetrius Andrade get a shot. Now they're talking about Derevyanchenko. Then that leaves Golovkin. You know, this whole thing is a mess. Who's Golovkin going to fight? If Canelo doesn't fight him next, is Golovkin going to fight Jaime Munguia? You know, DAZN has to get it together in terms of their scheduling to create like sustained momentum. You know, and Andy Ruiz, if he defeats Joshua again, that's going to be a major hit to DAZN, because that's somebody that's all on the videos and the promotions for DAZN, and he took a horrific loss. So if Andy Ruiz does a two-peat, then you just have Canelo and Triple G as the real cash cows. And then Triple G's he just fought Steve Rolls. So if he doesn't fight Canelo, who's he gonna fight? Jaime Munguia, who didn't look that great, versus Dennis Hogan. And then that leaves Canelo. Who's Canelo gonna fight? Derevyanchenko. Now my thoughts on the Derevyanchenko fight, very simple. I don't have a problem with the fight. Rules are rules, but I don't think it's a big fight for DAZN. And I think that's the issue here. I think Derevyanchenko has, you know, elements of danger. He's a top rated, top 10, top 15 at least middleweight, but I don't think it's a big fight. If you look at it, if the Canelo versus Jacob fight did 600,000 concurrent streams, whatever the real number is, then what is a fight like Canelo versus Derevyanchenko going to do? You know, I just can't see it really moving the needle. But, you know, as a champion, you have obligations, and with the franchise title and not fighting Charlo, I think it makes sense. I don't know. Canelo's just in a tough spot because he has DAZN pulling him a certain way. He has the fans who have expectations. He doesn't want to fight Triple G, you know, so there's just a lot of things at play right now going on. And to me, if he doesn't fight Derevyanchenko and he allows the IBF to strip him, then he's going to have to go against his word. I mean, it just looks to the bottom line is it looks like Canelo is going to have to go against his word in some form or fashion, period. He said he doesn't want to fight a Mexican fighter. So if he fights Jaime Munguia, he's going to have to go against his word. He says he doesn't want to fight Triple G. So if he fights Triple G, he's going to have to go against his word. He said he wanted to be undisputed at middleweight this year. So if he allows the IBF to strip him, then that pushes him further away from being undisputed, and he's going to have to go against his word. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. But so far it's been a mess. And I think the reality is DAZN is realizing that they've overpaid Canelo without making him. They were so this is just my opinion. DAZN was so desperate to nab Canelo and Golovkin when HBO folded and said they're getting out of the boxing game, that they didn't think it through. They didn't hold Canelo to it. He didn't put his feet to the fire and say, hey, you must fight Triple G. So they don't have anything contractually binding him to fight that particular person, to my knowledge. So Canelo really doesn't like Triple G. He doesn't want to put money in his pocket. He already said he feels he's beyond that chapter of his career. You know, if anything, I think he wants to age him out so he can knock him out, you know, in the future, because the more time that elapses, the worse it'll get for Triple G, more than likely, based on his style and based on, you know, father time and different things. Triple G's style is not fine wine. It's not a Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, where you can expect to see that style, you know, thrive and adjust and grow. You know, he doesn't have much head movement, much defense and stuff. So as time goes on and Canelo gets stronger and mentally stronger and more experienced, then it favors him more and more and more the more time you put in between Canelo and Triple G, part 2 and 3. You know, and I think that's kind of the game plan. Make him suffer a little bit, get better, get stronger, age him out a little bit. But I don't think DAZN is having it. They just want a big fight, so they're not into the waiting game. They don't want to play this whole charade. And that's why it looks like Canelo had to back off the quote-unquote Mexican date. And again, that shows, to me, turmoil. Canelo, for the longest, he had the opportunity to beat Floyd for the Mexican dates, came up completely short. And for the longest, he said that I want to fight on the Mexican dates. Give me the Mexican dates. and then you gave it up because you couldn't find an opponent. How can't you find an opponent if we knew last year and the year before that, for the last few years, that you fight 2 months out of the year? Those are the dates that you claimed you wanted. So to me, I don't see how hard it would be for DAZN or Golden Boy to plan when you know year upon year Canelo wants to fight in May and Canelo wants to fight in September. Just doesn't make sense. You have plenty of time. You knew immediately after he beat Danny Jacobs to get the ball rolling because Canelo wanted to fight in September. So the fact that he gave it up, it just shows that there's kind of a changing of the guard in boxing. You know, somebody else is probably going to take that weekend, and Canelo just gave it up because he, quote unquote, didn't have a quality opponent. But to me, it was more so poor planning and not being on the same page with what he wanted to do and with what DAZN wanted to do. Plus, I heard he had knee problems. So all in all, they decided to bow out from that particular date. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.